I like to ramble, ramble. I like to ramble, ramble. I like to ramble. Welcome to the innermost ramblings of Fiona. I'm Fiona and I like to ramble. It's actually been the way that I'm learning to get to know myself. I started voice memoing myself and feeling my truth as I speak. Like, does that feel good in my body? That's not quite right. I'll keep talking and then feeling, oh wow, yeah, that is not. So this is where I ramble and process whatever is alive, whatever is staring in me in any given moment, and invite you to listen. Maybe you find some identification. Maybe you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Or maybe you're like, what? That's not my truth. And I hope that you'd seek out your truth as you listen. Listen to your body, listen to your responses, and maybe even do a little rambling of your own. Thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoy. A disclaimer before we jump into it. These are voice memos that are voice memos. They are infiltrated by wind sounds and cars going past, or me being in the car, or they are not perfect audio. I can't sit down and have the same processing effect. There's often movement involved. I like being outside or standing up, or so my audio is unedited and authentic to the environment that I'm in. Hey everyone! So I recorded this at the start of May. It is now early, mid-June. What is the date today? What is the date today? The 16th. 16th of June. So over a month ago of thoughts and feelings and things just progressing, and I feel like I'm exploding on many levels, but it's nice to kind of listen back and be like, wow, this is the foundation that has allowed me to move through, because I sat with this stuff. I needed to sit and feel and digest all of this, so that I could and can, be with be with what's here and now, like that I've expanded to here and now. So yeah, this is that. Here it is. Hello. I am in the car again. So it's time for some pondering. I don't know where to start. I know I want to talk about community today, about tribe, about clan, about chosen family, and some of those words are quite triggering for me, but I feel like they're all in essence the same thing, essentially. And it's like this space where I am able to be seen and held and called higher, like witnessed in all of my parts, in all of my expression, and called into my greatest potential, which is like, it's this space to be held. Let's put it this way. I know how to isolate. I know how to leave. I know how to run. And since humanity, I am in further and deeper in relationship than I've ever been with people. Like I feel like I'm going to drift at sea quite often, and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And that is my brain, my logical mind, my conceptual, my need for concept talking over and over again about well, I want control. I want to be able to control it. And I did some breath work yesterday with like this open curiosity about like what is the thing that's blocking this depth in me. And it's I mean, it's all in me. It's always. But like the two things that have really just become really clear and really apparent to me are the way that I love and the way that I engage in community. And I just had this real clear connection point as to like community and what that looks like or has looked like for me. One of the guys from Humanity has talked, the way that he talks about community, I'm like, I actually want that. That is not my experience of community, but there's something in me that stirs and wants to move towards this openness and this, the way that he talks about community alights something in me. Like it is, yes. The word community is quite triggering for me. Even soul family and family, like family hasn't been a safe space for me. Like why would I want a family when my experience of family hasn't been safe and nurturing, and like I feel overly responsible and underly supported, perhaps, and that's not on anyone. Like that they're programs that I learned in survival to survive as a kid, and I guess that now it's like choosing a soul family also means redefining what family is and how I engage with the people in my life. And like the choices that I make to be open to them, because that was the other piece that came up. Like this, love terrifies me. Like I've noticed people will say at the end, like, I love you, at the end of messages or at the end of a phone call. I'm like, I love you, and I'm like, cool. And it's not that I don't love people. Like, I'm realizing I do. I had this, like, you could not surprise me more. I am the one most surprised that I am a loving person, because I haven't felt that way. I've just felt exhausted. And I'm realizing that I have all this love to give, and in not giving it, that's been the thing that's caused, like, that's done more damage than anyone outside of me. Me being afraid of, like, well, what happens if we're not friends tomorrow? What happens if something happens and I feel hurt and I don't know how to keep loving, and what happens if it ends? Like, what happens when the love inevitably, or what I think is inevitably, ends? And realizing, like, that's kind of the point. Like, that's actually what I've been creating, because the love, like, not giving love actually means that tomorrow comes and there was no love. Because there's no love, the love can't keep going, because it's been a blocked flow inside of me. And then on top of that, I'm suppressing. I'm not allowing energy and motion. Like, love is energy in motion. It is an emotion. It's a lot of chemicals. But it's energy that wants to move through me freely. And me being like, oh no, gotta repress that, stagnates me. Like, I am the one most hurt by my own repression. Like, that is huge. I am the one that's damaged my own sense of openness and ability to give and receive, for fear of, like, what about tomorrow? But what about today? That's what I've been realizing. But what about today? Because giving it today means that it continues. Like, it can build on itself. But if I repress what is here today, there's like, it isn't a continuation. It's just, it dries up. And then realizing, like, I have this inexhaustible well of love inside of me. Like, I am love. But then also, by trying to keep it inside, I become exhausted purely because I'm trying to keep something that's inexhaustible inside, and that's taking a lot of energy. So that weaves in with this, I want to say, this concept of community, which is so my experience of community has been in the church, and I didn't feel like I could bring all of me. I couldn't be witnessed as I was, or was I just, all of me wasn't welcome. And like, to find parts of myself and have them, like, you can't be angry, you can't be controlling. Like, these parts are coming up as I get closer to community or experience community more. I am getting freaking angry. And realizing, like, well, I guess my question around that has been, like, am I angry to protect myself, or is the anger like it's one of the things that's never been welcomed, and so it's like, you say I'm welcome in community here, and like, where I am responsible for my anger, but my reaction to having anger, especially in the past, was like, oh, I can't be angry, I need to isolate and sort this out myself, which has been just self-repression. Like, I don't know how to not be angry, and so I'll just repress that part of myself, and it's still there, and I'm still angry, and now I don't have the community around me to remind me of, like, truth. And I don't know where the balance between, like, hey, I'm angry, and I don't really know what to do with that is. And, like, yeah, I just signed up to do some coaching, and at the end of the call where we were chatting about it, like, what it was going to look like, I'm like, I'm going to turn into all these people that I don't like, that have never been welcome. And I guess they're shadow aspects that I see very clearly now. Like, these repressed aspects of myself that are like, I'm freaking controlling. I want everyone to drop everything and meet my needs now. I'm manipulative. I'm angry. I'm explosive. I have a push-pull relationship with people. Like, I know I've talked about attachment styles before. And my attachment style is very much one of I'm avoidant if you come towards me, and then I'm clingy if you move away. And I think, like, I am very quick to be like, all right, this relationship is done if I feel any of these things in myself, because it's been like, oh, I must be doing something wrong to feel these things. But I think I'm coming to understand that these things are welcome in relationship as well. Not in like me just dumping this on someone else. Like that is totally unfair and unreasonable and not the point. It's kind of like, oh, I witness these parts of myself and welcome them in, like, back home into myself. Like, there's obviously a reason that these parts are feeling what they're feeling and wanting what they're wanting. And yeah, like, I've just always been like, oh, I feel these things, it must be a red flag. Whereas I'm realizing these are, it's like there's this army of all these parts of me that I've repressed that are not really welcome, or haven't been welcome. So like the controlling, the anger, the manipulative. And when I start getting close and experiencing closeness, these things come up and I'm like, oh, I must be doing something wrong. But I don't think that's the case. I'm realizing that's the opposite. Like, and I guess I'm in this place of just inquiry as to what that actually looks like and feels like, as far as this how does that look in community? What does that mean for community? What does that mean inside me as I bring these parts into myself and reintegrate them as not broken parts or not red flags for the other person? Like, the other person is offering this invitation into a portal in me that until now wasn't that I haven't had access, I just didn't know how to respond. And I think I'm getting to a point where I'm like, well, I'm still unsure as to how to respond, but I can see that these aren't just, oh, time to leave. It's actually like, these are the openings. Like, can I stay open to these parts of myself? Can I stay open to these parts of myself and open to others without like spewing all this stuff all over them, and being aware that that's the dynamic that I'm creating, and then wanting to engage differently. Like, I crave relationship. It's a basic human need. But the more I keep seeing me feeling these things as red flags, the more I'll just isolate more. And so this is the invitation and the portal into something different, engaging differently. So that's my thoughts on that for now. I'm interested to see what comes up as I continue to engage in community. And there you have it, folks. Another episode of the innermost ramblings of Fiona in the books. Thanks for coming along. Please like and subscribe and share and do all those things. And if you want to find me on socials in between time, you can find me at _innermost_ramblings on Instagram, or check the show notes for other ways to connect. Until next time, have a brilliant, beautiful day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, whenever you're listening to this. From my heart to yours. Bye.